All units, stand by. There's a woman throwing children off the bridge. The first, then the second, and the third child over the railing, a small toddler. Caller reports that the woman was clutching a baby in her arms, then jumped herself. 5 in the water, 5 in the water. All units, go to the shorelines immediately. I rushed downstream about half a mile and waded into the water. Through the driving rain, I spotted a small white object floating by. It was the toddler. Bringing the tiny form to the bank, I started CPR. Within minutes, my service dog pulled a other small bundle from the river, the baby. I held their cold little bodies close, trying desperately to save them, to warm them, to give them back their life. I failed. That night, 4 children were murdered by their mother. It was the worst, most senseless, most cruel experience of my life. After the paramedics took the children from my arms, I sat there for 7 hours. It was a crime scene. I was a witness. In the rain, in the mud, and through my tears, I repeated the scene over and over and over to the homicide detectives, to the commander, to the coroner, and to God. I was in a rage, but I couldn't say it. I was a cop. The debriefing was held 3 days later. No emotion, just technical. I could not listen to the discussions, the explanations, the what ifs, the whys, the what do we do's. I left the room and threw up. I needed to talk to someone. Over the years, I would meet with a group of street rounders who I'd once arrested, but they understood life. Our seating pattern at the table had not changed. An old con man to my right, and the ex-madam, a honky-tonk owner and a retired exotic dancer. I related every detail, my race to the park, the frantic search along the riverbank, the youngsters floating, and the agony of holding their cold little bodies. I shared my anger, my sorrow, and absolute bewilderment that a mother could commit such a horrendous act. I wasn't looking for sympathy, I just needed to talk. And the group listened. None tried to rationalize or justify what the mother had done. They listened and shared my agony. It was when they reached across the table, one touched my shoulder on my arm, and the ex-madam took my hand, and she began to pray. And there, around the breakfast table, I started to lose my anger and rage. These people could understand my emotions, not try to explain it or give advice. They were just there to listen, to empathize, and to support. And Kim prayed for the victim's family left behind, and for me, and for the police, the firefighters, the paramedics, the emergency room doctors and the nurses who had worked to save the children and ultimately failed. And she prayed for the souls of the little ones. And as she finished her prayer, we raised our heads and sat silent for several minutes. And with nothing left to say, we rose to leave. And one by one, each came and hugged me. They full-on, arms around, squeezed deep, hold on tight hug, the I love you hug that lifts the soul. And Kim was the last, stepping back from the hug. Her hands remained on my shoulders. She looked into my eyes, and she said, "The greatest honor of your life will be to walk someone home." And that night, by the river, you carried 2 babies home to their father.